She discovered a secret that destroyed trust forever. I always believed our love story was written in the stars, a cosmic certainty. The day I met Leo, it felt like the universe had finally aligned. He wasn't just my partner. He was my anchor, the steady hand I held through every storm. Our life was a beautiful tapestry woven with shared dreams, inside jokes, and the quiet comfort of knowing glances. We were building a future, brick by brick, on a foundation I thought was made of solid rock, trust. But I was about to learn that even the strongest foundations can be built on a bed of lies, and the cracks were starting to show. It all began with a simple, misplaced item, a vintage locket, a family heirloom he'd given me on our first anniversary. I searched everywhere, my frustration growing with each passing minute, until I decided to check the one place I rarely looked, the old wooden chest at the foot of our bed, where we kept forgotten memorabilia. Lifting the heavy lid, I rummaged past old photographs and concert tickets, my fingers brushing against something unfamiliar. It was a small, leather-bound journal, one I had never seen before. Curiosity, a dangerous and tempting whisper, got the better of me. His handwriting, usually so bold and confident, was frantic, almost desperate. The first entry was dated just 3 weeks after we met. My heart hammered against my ribs as I read. He wrote about a woman named Clara, about a promise he'd made, a life he'd left behind. The words blurred as I continued, each sentence a dagger, twisting deeper into my soul. This wasn't just a past relationship. It was a current, breathing secret. He wrote of clandestine meetings, of whispered apologies, of a double life I had unknowingly funded with my love and devotion. The beautiful tapestry of our life was a fraud, a carefully constructed stage play, and I was the unsuspecting lead actress. The locket I was searching for was mentioned he had given it to her first. A cold, numbing wave crashed over me, extinguishing the warmth of every memory we had ever made. The laughter we shared now echoed with deceit. The tender moments we cherished were tainted by the shadow of his betrayal. I sank to the floor, the journal clutched in my hand, my body trembling with a grief so profound it felt like a physical blow. Tears streamed down my face, not just for the love I had lost, but for the fool I had been. How could the man who held me every night, who whispered promises of forever into my ear, be the same man who chronicled his deception on these pages? The trust I had placed in him, so absolute and unwavering, shattered into a million irreparable pieces. The air in the room grew thick and suffocating. Every photograph on the wall felt like a mockery, a gallery of lies. I was suffocating in the life we had built. As the initial shock subsided, a new feeling began to smolder in the pit of my stomach, a cold, hard rage. The tears stopped, and my trembling hands grew steady. I would not be the victim in his tragic play. I would not crumble. He had underestimated my strength, mistaken my kindness for weakness. I closed the journal, the leather cool against my skin, and a plan began to form in the ruins of my heart. He wanted to live a double life? Fine. I would give him a performance he would never forget. I would not confront him, not yet. An explosion of anger would give him the satisfaction of a fight, a chance to twist the narrative, to play the martyr. No, my response would be as calculated and quiet as his betrayal. I would gather my own secrets, weave my own web, and become the author of this story's final act. Over the next few weeks, I became a phantom in my own home, my grief masked by a serene, chilling smile. I used his own methods against him, tracing the digital breadcrumbs he'd so carelessly left behind. The secret phone bills, the credit card statements for hotels I'd never visited, the coded messages with a contact saved under a male name. I found Clara. I learned everything about the life he had hidden from me. Not to confront her, but to understand the scale of his deceit. The final piece of my plan clicked into place when I discovered their next planned rendezvous, a weekend getaway at a secluded lakeside cabin. A trip he'd told me was for a work conference. On the morning of his departure, I kissed him goodbye, my touch lingering just a moment too long. "Have a productive trip, my love," I whispered, the words tasting like poison and power. He walked out the door, oblivious, leaving me in the quiet stillness of our home. My real work was just beginning. I had already spoken to a lawyer. I had already secured my own future. But that wasn't the end. As he drove towards his secret life, he had no idea that I had arranged for a little surprise to be waiting for him. And Clara, at the cabana, specially delivered package containing every piece of evidence I had gathered. The journal, the photos, the printed records, and a single final note from me. But the real twist wasn't what was in the box. It was who would be there to see him open it. He thought he was escaping to a private retreat, but I had made a few calls. I wondered, what would his very traditional, very influential parents think when they arrived for the surprise family reunion I had arranged at that exact same lakeside cabin? The trap was set. All I had to do now was wait for the fallout. But as I sat there, a sudden, chilling thought crossed my mind. What if Leo wasn't the only one with a secret? What if Clara was more than just a hidden lover? And what if his parents already knew everything?